you control the process, right? You control the process. You get to call the shots, and you get to direct their attention to the parts of the proposal that you want to show them that create value.
Welcome to the Master Dealmakers Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmakers Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 183. And today we are going to be talking about 10 strategic advantages that you will gain by presenting your proposals or quotes. But before we do that, if you have got people that you've actually presented a quote or a proposal to, and they haven't actually converted into a paying client yet, I want you to head over to johnblakeaudio.com. And what you will get there is my exact training that I go through with my clients to help them to convert more people in their pipeline. I have got a specific process that I use, and what you'll get is the audio training that walks you through the whole system. But what you'll also get is my PDF document that has every single word for word template, exactly what to write in your emails, exactly what to say when you call, and exactly when to call and when to email over a 90-day period. This will easily allow you to convert more people that are in your pipeline into paying clients in a way that's professional, in a way that's proactive, and in a way that won't piss your clients off. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com, grab it, put it into practice, let me know how it goes. It has been a game changer, not just for myself, but for every single client that I've taught it to. And it is my gift to you. There is absolutely no charge for that whatsoever. It is at johnblakeaudio.com. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 10 strategic advantages for presenting your proposals. Now, I work and have worked with hundreds and hundreds of different clients and salespeople, and very rarely do they ever present their proposals, right? So they go and talk to someone and they make a whole bunch of notes, and then they put a quote or a proposal together, and then they just email it through. And it is really the equivalent of pulling the pin out of a grenade and tossing it over the fence and waiting to see what happens. And as you'll notice, there are a whole bunch of strategic advantages that you will gain through making a time and going through this particular process with your clients. Okay, so why do we need to do this? Okay, well, what I find is that there is this mentality out there where business owners and salespeople, they write a stack of proposals and they expect the proposal to do the selling for them, right? They expect the proposal to do the selling for them. So this does assume one thing, and that is that you have established conceptual agreement of value with that particular client before you actually put pen to paper, right? So if you're just having a really cursory discovery conversation, shallow, surface level discovery conversation, and then you're putting a proposal together, your proposal is not going to work, right? You need to have a deep conversation, and that relates to the sales process that is the precursor to you putting pen to paper. So conceptual agreement of value assumes a couple of things. The first one is that the client knows they have a problem. They are motivated to solve that problem. They believe that you can help them solve that problem, and they've agreed that there is a business case for them investing the time, the resources, and the energy to actually solve that problem. So that is conceptual agreement of value. You need to have that conversation with somebody prior to putting a proposal together. So assuming you've done that, and if you don't have a process for doing that, I can totally help you with that. But assuming that you've done that, this is where this kicks in, right? So the first mistake that people make is that they expect the proposal or the quote to do the selling for them. That's the first mistake. The second one is that if you email something, there's a good chance it won't get read. Why won't it get read? Well, it could get ignored. If the person receives high volumes of emails, it's easy for something to get buried. It's easy for something to wind up in the spam folder, and it's just easy for it to get overlooked, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing is that the client will open the proposal that you've sent and they will click straight through to the page that's got the price on it, right? So at that point, they haven't really read any of it. It contains your solution and they're just going straight to the page that's got the actual dollar figure on it. And that's a mistake because you don't get a chance to build value and actually explain the value of what it is that they're paying for. And we'll talk more about this in a sec. But ultimately, what that means is that there's a pretty good chance that you're going to do two things. You're going to lose control of the sale and you're going to lose the business. So to illustrate this, one of my clients used to be a bank manager. And he was telling me that they had spoken to an external vendor for a particular product. I don't know whether it was software, or it was some sort of a service. And they'd spoken to this external vendor, and the external vendor sent through a proposal. They just emailed it through. And one of his colleagues printed it out and had it on the table. And my client said, so, what are we doing with this proposal? And his colleague picked the proposal up and he threw it in the bin. And my client said, what are you doing that for? And he said, if we are not important enough for them to come in and actually go through this proposal with us, then I don't want to deal with them. And that story really stuck with me, and it illustrates a number of really important ideas around the process of taking somebody through to help them. You know what I mean? It's like, how can you support somebody if you're actually not going to walk them through the solution? So the 10 strategic advantages I'm about to go through with you in presenting your proposal. A lot of people who listen to the podcast want to know what we do over at Master Dealmaker Secrets. And effectively what we do is we work with sales professionals and business owners all over the world who are seeing massive increases in their top line sales revenue. So we help business owners and sales professionals to effectively focus on the three key drivers to growing sales revenue in your business. The first one is controlling the message that you send out into the marketplace so that potential clients see and hear and read what you do as an opportunity as opposed to your competitors. The second thing that we do is we help you to create a direct path to the 20% of your ideal clients that will deliver 80% of the revenue. So everyone knows the 80-20 rule. We help you to develop a direct path to the 20% of the people that are going to give you 80% of your sales revenue in your business. And the third thing that we allow you to do, that we create a process for, is for you to be able to double the amount of leads that you get that convert into paying clients. So if this is of interest, we do have an application-only process to become involved in this particular program. And to get to there, all you need to do is to go to johnblakescall.com. So it's JOHNBLAKESCALL.com, and there's a couple of questions to answer there, and then what you'll do is get on a quick conversation with me, and I can find out a little bit more about what you've got going on in your business and see potentially whether what you are doing would be a fit for what we could help you with. And at that point, I can extend an invitation if it's a fit, and you can make the choice to come on board or not. So that's the opportunity. That would be the next step if you're looking at how you can take things to the next level. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast, if you're getting value from it, I invite you to do that, and I will look forward to talking to you. The website is www.johnblakescall.com. Talk to you soon. Versus just emailing it. So there's good, better, best. Best is presenting it in person. And if it's a high value proposal, I would totally recommend doing that. If that's not possible, I would be suggesting that the next available, or the next best way is to actually go through it and show them the proposal or the quote on Zoom. And best, absolutely in person, print it out, go through it with them live. I've got a whole process for this. I'll talk to you about in a sec. The second one is you would be presenting it on Zoom, which is these days that's how I do the majority of mine. So I not only recommend this, I actually do it myself. And then the third one is that if you can't get in front of them face to face, and if you can't get them on a Zoom call, you want to at least give them a call before you send it and go through it with them over the phone. So the 10 strategic advantages of presenting quotes. So the first one is you control the process, right? You control the process. You get to call the shots, and you get to direct their attention to the parts of the proposal that you want to show them that create value. You want to make sure that you've created sufficient value before they see the price, right? So you control the process. The second one is you don't lose control of the process, right? So if you don't show them, so if you just talk to them, say, yeah, I'll get a proposal through to you in the next couple of days, you email it, you've lost control of the process. You don't have any, and just saying to somebody, oh, I'll follow you up in a couple of days, that is a disaster, because 80% of people don't pick up the phone. So there's a good chance that when you ring them, you'll get their voicemail, you'll leave a voicemail, and straight away you're in this chase mode, which is not good. It will increase it'll increase the time that it takes to convert that particular client, and there's a really good chance that you'll lose touch with them, right? So number one, you control the process. Number two, just as importantly, you don't lose control of the process. Number three, faster sales cycle. If you're controlling the process, if you talk to them, you put the plan together, and you say to them, hey, I'll put this together in a document for you with a couple of different options. When would be a good time to go through that with you, right? And then you make a time with them, and you go through that with them. And obviously, there's a possibility that they might say, hey, can you just email that? I've got a training that I'm going to talk to you about, give you guys access to at the end of this. So don't worry about some of the rebuttals and stuff. I just want to go through all of the different advantages so that you get a sense of how powerful this is. So this will speed up your sales cycle. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you can have an opportunity to recalibrate. So here's what I'm talking about. Somebody comes and talks to you and says, hey, I want you to do this for us. And you say, yeah, sure. And then in the meantime, they might talk to two other vendors, and in their discussions with the two other vendors, they might decide that there's something that they thought that they originally wanted that they no longer want now. And so the other two proposals that they're getting sent through, because a lot of people get, two or three options, right? The other two proposals that come through haven't got that thing in it that they said that they actually wanted when you spoke to them. So what happened? Well, the problem with that is that now they're not comparing apples to apples. So yours is going to be more expensive, but they'll probably forget that they actually said that they wanted that thing. So you're going through it with them, right, before you've shown them the price, and you show them, say, and as we talked about, we've included this. And the client says, actually, we don't want that anymore, right? Well, now you get an opportunity to go and recalibrate that proposal. And because you haven't actually emailed it through, because in my process, we don't email it through until in fact, if you're presenting it on Zoom, you don't email it through until after you've finished showing it to them on Zoom. They don't get to see it any other way than on the Zoom call. If you're face-to-face, you can go through it. Either way, you can say, look, let me go back and adjust the plan so that it no longer has that thing in it that you now say that you don't want. So you can recalibrate if you need to. You can build value before you see the price. I think I've already covered that to a certain extent. The next thing, so the sixth thing is that you get to ask for the business, right? So you get to actually say to them, so which option are you leaning toward at this point? And the person says, I'm leaning toward option A. And you go, great. Well, all I need from you to confirm your choice to go ahead is whatever card you want to put that on, and you can confirm their choice on the call. You don't get to do that if you just email it through. So you get to ask for the business. You can set the next contact point. So not everyone's going to give you the go-ahead in that particular meeting, they might say, I need to check with such and such, or I've got another couple of quotes coming through, or whatever. And you can say, okay, well, when would you like to continue the conversation? So you get to actually work out when the next contact point is. And in the training that I have that you'll get access to, it actually shows you exactly how to do that, so that there is a specific date and a specific time on a specific date that is the next time that you are going to talk to them, and they're going to let you know what they would like to do one way or the other. So you get to answer any questions or concerns, right? So if you're showing them the actual plan, and at any point, if you see their face kind of do something weird, or they frown or whatever, you can say, oh, so, I'm sort of sensing something shift there, or you've got a question. Can I ask what that is, right? You don't get to do that if you just email it through. There might be something in your plan, and they might go, oh, you can just tell that they don't understand something, or you can, at regular intervals throughout your plan, you can, your plan presentation, you can say, does that make sense? Can you see how that would be valuable? So you can make sure that you're calibrating all the way through. You don't get a chance to do that if you just email it. And it's super powerful. It's super powerful. And the ninth strategic advantage is that none of your competitors are going to do it, right? The ones that have been trained by me, maybe. They would certainly be doing it once, while they're actually training with me, and a certain percentage of them will still continue to do it after they've finished their training with me. But the majority of your competitors will not do it. And it's so powerful if you can get good at it. And then the 10th one, of course, is less follow-up, right? Because if you're converting more people at the front end, and if you are setting a specific date at a specific time as the next contact point, you are going to have more control of the process. You're going to convert more business faster, and you're going to have less follow-up. So I have got a 2-hour training that I have put together that shows you exactly how you can write and present a proposal that converts almost every time. And I've had it sitting in one of my folders, and I saw it the other day, and I went, wow, this is a really, really powerful training. I didn't really have time in this podcast to go into the detail that I wanted to, even though we have gone into quite a lot of detail. So if you would like that training, what I want you to do is email me. It's john@john-blake.com.au, john@john-blake.com.au, and in a subject line, just write proposal training, and I will get that to you. So thank you so much for listening, as always, and I will talk to you on the next podcast.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.